we go. Jiminy. It's fun drop rating. I can see the. And so what I'm doing tonight is, again, trying to get 30 minutes in. It's late, but, whoa, drag my hand across that. Now, just like, did I like lose some of them? Anyway, selling my 10 mils and 6 mils, and I got to take pictures. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm doing a little inventory and Schnappleroo. And now I got to get some close-ups. Sorry, it's going to be bad light for the video, but that's that. Hey, what's up, OG? I was going to invite you, OG, but it looks like you might be playing something. Let me know. You're probably too busy counting all your chits for World at War. Devin, I don't think ID Jester. Did ID Jester get that too, or did he just get the tactical? If you want to see an amazing bundle, go check out. Go check out what ID Jester got from Lock and Load. Holy mackerel. I think I got the mother load. He is definitely invested into the system now. So that's pretty cool. Sorry, I had to get quiet. I took a picture. I don't know why. But anyway, so Devin got the package from the Kickstarter. He's not from the Kickstarter, but what will come in the Kickstarter from Lock and Load, the World at War 85. And so that's pretty cool. It's been fun seeing those guys get those packages. Anyway. Oh, I can. Well, now let's see if I can invite you, because now I've got to, okay, so I'm there, go up. Tell you what, man, I do not know, because if I go to another screen, my mouse is up. I think I would not be surprised if Apple put some thing in so it doesn't work with Chrome. So if something might go wacky, I might leave the studio or something. Okay, so there I am there. Live viewers, go down. This is so funny. I'm like trying to, I don't know if I need to hook up a mouse to my screen. So there I am there. I'm too far over that way, so I need to go this way. If I go too far over, oh. This is funny. I mean, I want to do this, so I'm gonna make this work, but holy mackerel, this is some crazy stuff here. Thanks. I got an update on the computer, and that's all I can think of is that they made it so that I can't do it. So when I switch over here, I'm like, no, I can't switch over there. Oh my gosh. Man, this is crazy. Thanks a lot, Apple. I mean, I like Apples. They've been amazing for me, but tonight, not so much. Crap. How do I go back? Oh my gosh, man. These things light up when you get to them. Jamie. Devin, it might take me a second to get you in here, but I'm going to do my best, because my best just isn't good enough. Oh my gosh, man. I just have to be quiet. Sorry, I'm trying. Oh, whoa. Got it. Okay. All right. Oh my gosh. Okay. And I'm dragging. You guys are probably watching that laughing. I'm dragging stuff all over the thing here with my sleeve. Oh boy, who's the old guy now? Holy mackerel. Seriously. It's embarrassing. hang on to my sleeve. Now I need to do a count. Normally I'd go into my computer and do that, but I'm going to use a piece of paper. Good old-fashioned paper. So let's go 1, 2. Maybe we'll just go how many figs I got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 37. So I've got 37 Pendragon. So I did this great inventory of my Germans, but I don't think I'll. I mean, I guess I should. Maybe I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 radio men. And I sent it via the Facebook post there. So this is part of the fun of this is probably not the right thing to do on screen, but I guess it's kind of like, well, you know, this is part of owning minis, part of selling minis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 liters. How many radio men do we have? So 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 radio men, 2 Jeeps with crew and a machine gun. All right, so Devin's here. I see his screen. He's waiting in the green room. He's getting all his makeup on and everything so he can look all nice and pretty for this camera. I'm sure he's reading his scripts, making sure he's good for our big skit we'll do during the show. I just love the thought of a green room. Oh, whoa. There we go. There's Devin.
I don't think any amount of makeup is going to help me. So
I was going to say, wow, they did a good job tonight. But, okay.
Hey, quick question. What the hell was that gun ATG you were painting last night?
It was just a second. I'll go get it. It's a 6-pounder British Airborne.
Oh, was it a 6-pounder? Okay. The front shield looked like it was a 57, but the barrel was way too long for it to be a 57. Of course, I should have realized it was a 6-pounder. You're doing British Airborne, so.
There we go. Not gonna look great on there, but you know.
Yep.
And then I have it in 10 mil as well.
Ooh. And what about 6 mil?
Actually, I wouldn't have it in that. I never did British Airborne in 6 mil. But that's kind of funny. If I had done it, I would have. You know, as I'm counting my guys here in Devon to sell these guys off, I'm like, man, you can really get a big army pretty quick when you go small scales.
Oh, I've painted 6mm moderns for, well, I've painted a lot of armies for people, but yeah, 6mm goes really, I think there were times that it took me longer to prepare them I would glue them on painting stir sticks, so I'd have like 30 vehicles on there and just a little drop of Elmer's glue, PVC glue, to just secure them there, waiting for that to dry and then priming and then waiting for the primer to dry. The preparation was longer than the actual painting of them. So
yeah, no doubt about it. I just realized I'd kind of made these bases to be snipers. And I realized the guns they have in them are Bren guns.
Yeah, well, you can snipe with a Bren gun,
I guess. They're kind of carrying them at their hips, but anyway. Bren guns. Yeah, so these are 10, and I'm like, man, you can really get a lot of... I could get a pretty good army done if I'd stick with this, but I don't want to stick with it. So let's see. Crew. Oh, 6-pounder. So what are you doing tonight?
I don't want to say.
Okay.
I'm playing Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Oh, okay. I thought I saw that on. I went in Discord to see who was there, and I know she. So I was surprised you said you could come on. I didn't know. I guess it's something you can do while you're on. I guess. Huh?
Well, I am doing it while I'm on, so which is why I'm looking down at my screen and not up at the camera. So, but I figure since I've got the volume off and we're just chatting, I really don't need to I'm sorry, I'm not paying 100% attention to you.
No, that's hurtful. 1, 2.
I know, I'm sorry.
But I bet I'll get over it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At least hearing you clicking and me counting, this is gonna make a pretty good video.
That'll cover the dead air.
Yeah, at least I won't fall asleep this time. 1, 2.
Dead air. Dead air.
Yeah, if you want to see me falling asleep, watch my live video from last night or
Oh, dude, I gotta tell you, you can leave that old man not for kids off. It's really, really not gonna help. I've been looking into the COPPA and the how everything works out. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you say, it's what they decide. And by they, I mean the whoever runs COPPA, what is it? It's not YouTube. YouTube's algorithms are all foobarred and are going to be for at least a year anyways. But so since you're doing models, and since that's going to fall under the algorithm of models, and children usually do, it's a huge mess. It's a huge headache that's coming down the pipe. So yeah, even just saying that this isn't for kids, it doesn't matter. It's what the algorithm says. So. And the purges have already started. Today, or the 10th, which was yesterday, was the big YouTube purges that were going to start, and it's already started. They're really cracking down on. We're trying to cut down on harassment and bullying, but allowing everybody their freedom of speech. Well, no, you're not. Freedom of speech means you get offended sometimes, and that means sometimes you will have people that are offended. So it's a load of garbage. But whatever, there's already big channels that they're trying to purge. And like I said, a year from now, I'll be very surprised if any of us are still around. But fortunately, there are other options that are starting to crop up. And I'm sure if YouTube starts purging a lot more people, then there's going to be a lot more people seeing a niche that they can fill.
Yeah, I don't just feel it's just really funny. It's like, well, don't call it YouTube anymore. Call it, I don't know.
Corporate tube. That's really what it's getting down to.
I mean, which I get, they gotta make money. So
well, yeah, hey, I'm all for that, and honestly, YouTube loses money the only reason YouTube is still around is because Google has basically been carrying the water for them and financing them. It costs a lot of money to run all these videos that people put up, especially when you have idiots putting up 24-hour long videos of people yodeling. That costs money. And YouTube has been hemorrhaging cash for years. So I understand they're a business. They want to make money. I get that. I got no problem with that. I just wish that they would have clearer defined rules. And a part of the rules that they have given us is said, well, if you're wondering about this, contact your lawyer. What? Why do I have to contact my lawyer to put something up on YouTube? Shouldn't you kind of spell that out in your terms and conditions? But whatever.
So you don't even think board game people will be fine?
Well, like I said, games, and the algorithm picks up games. Kids play games. So I mean, for the most part, a lot of what the COPPA is hammering on is the monetized, because that's kind of where the biggest problem comes from, because YouTube got hammered with they were targeted advertising ads for children without really having permission. I don't know the full details behind it. I just know that YouTube got hammered for $170 million fine on it. And so they don't want to take that responsibility anymore. So we're pushing it off onto the content creators without really giving us clear definitions of what everything is supposed to be. So it's the next year is going to be real interesting for YouTube. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess the only thing I'm thinking of is like, I was trying to well, I'm not going to do anything drastic, but I'm like, well, I don't want to get fined.
Well, see, that's the thing.
With just kick me off, that's fine. But
with the fines, from what I understand, that 42,000. This again, mostly for the monetized channels. The fine is actually a portion of what you would have made from that video, up to a maximum of $42,000.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that's how it's worded. I think that's how everything is written out. But it's again, we don't know because YouTube hasn't bothered to clearly spell out everything. And like I said, it's just the next year is going to be real interesting is all. So, but for those of us who aren't monetized and haven't bent the knee to YouTube, we really don't have to worry about that because the COPPA was focusing on the targeted ads. And if you're not monetized, you don't have ads, so you don't have to worry about violating COPPA. However, YouTube has also said if you're not financially viable for us, we're going to start getting rid of you.
Oh, I didn't hear that part. That's the part.
Yeah, see that. So they're getting their monetized people hit, and the non-monetized people are getting hit too. So it is what it is, and we'll see what happens. And if enough people start getting kicked, and I hate that's why I like capitalism. People think there's a viable alternative and they can make money off of it. They're gonna do it. So, a year from now, we may be on something, Video Box or, who knows what it could be.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people going to something. And the one thing I saw, I don't remember what it was called. And I don't really want to give any credit because the thing I saw what they're going to, and I saw it, and it seemed like a lot of, and maybe just because it was Wild West, it was very political and very.
That's BitChute, I think. That's the biggest one. That's what a lot of people are recommending. A lot of the YouTube channels that I follow. And I follow a lot of them. Most of them are saying BitChute is probably where they're going to head to next. So if they get booted off of YouTube.
Gun Barrel says Major Z. Okay, sorry, dude. Definitely need to talk about something more exciting for Gun Barrel. Sorry, Gun Barrel.
Well, no, I don't think I can. That's about as exciting as I get.
Yeah, I mean, Gun Barrel, you got Todd and Devin on here. What do you expect?
Yeah, we're a bunch of boring old men.
Old men. Don't watch. I'm more doing that for fun, saying the old man thing.
Oh, I know. There's a few of my YouTube channels. One of the guys puts up this big disclaimer. I love you, YouTube. This is all satire. I'm not bullying. Please don't kick me off from the YouTube. Yeah, so.
Anyway, everyone should watch Gun Barrel. He's got good stuff. It's short, easy. Definitely not for kids, though. Not monetized. He's all good for a while.
Yay.
Anyway, so Devin got a big shipment of World at War 85. I almost said 45, 85. So that's cool. It's exciting.
It is very cool, and I actually feel bad about it, to be fair. Because when David got the he ordered it, the shipment is coming over in 3 containers from China on a slow boat from China. Literally, it just hit the port of Tacoma a couple days ago. It's on a rail line to Cleveland, Pueblo, then it gets all shipped out. But David had send him a case of all the games, basically as a chance to kind of go through everything and see if there's any last minute problems that's going to appear in the boxes. And plus, he owns the company. He can get his games before everybody else. And so he has the copies to send out to the designer. He sent it out to Keith and Jeff, and they designed the game. They have a right to get the game before everybody else, in my opinion. The play testers, reviewers, other people that work for the company. And he sent all of them out on the same day. And I got my copy first, and I didn't realize I was the first one to get the copy because I'm in Seattle. So I figured like Kev would get his first and Jeff would get his first, but nope, I got mine. And I actually feel kind of bad because I was talking to Keith. I asked Keith, I was like, have you got your copy yet? He goes, no, I haven't got it. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. So yeah, I kind of felt a little bit bad about that. But yeah, I did a couple videos about it, both for World of War 85 and Space Infantry Resurgence. They're also going to be getting Atlantic Storm in, the new, well, not the new, but reprints of the Lock and Load Tactical Starter Kit. There's a whole bunch. I think there's actually some starter kits from Nations at War in there as well. But a lot of good stuff coming down the pipe.
I didn't know Nations at War had a starter kit. Or not Nations at War. Nations at War or World at War had a starter kit?
Nations at War.
Nations at War. Okay.
I think Nations at War's got a starter kit now. I know Lock and Load Tactical's got a starter kit. It's basically the 4 scenarios that are in the 5.0 rulebook that you can download for free, PDF, free plug. 2 World War II, 2 Vietnam, and it's basically the 2 or 3 maps that you need and the 1 or 2 counter sheets plus a slimmed down selection of the rules. But I think that starter kit is going to go for like $19.95 or maybe even $9.95. I'm so horrible at remembering numbers and prices, but it is really cheap. It is a really good way to get into the system. So,
yeah, I want to get a couple just so I have them to give to people.
Yeah. It's a good idea.
So I can share the tactical.
Share the tactical love.
Tactical love. Maybe I'll send Gun Barrel one. Well, Gun Barrel. I am counting my 10mm troops to sell them. So I want to make sure I get an accurate number or close. So I'm getting rid of my 12. I'm getting rid of my 10s, which I just barely got, and I'm getting rid of immediately. Because I'm trying to get it all down to one scale, and I'm just sticking with 15 because I didn't want to buy a bunch of different terrain. I kind of lost count here. I don't know. I'll go with 15. And so that's what I'm doing here. Pretty exciting stuff, but I'm basically just trying to. Some of these 30-minute videos is just showing. I don't know. First of all, I'll get on here. I'm trying to get Devin for a few nights here, but just chat with people. That's basically it. I would like to paint, so after I get these counted, put these in a box. I'm in a box, and then put together something. Do a little painting, a little hobby in here. I've been so that's what I'm doing. I hope that's not too boring for you, Gun Barrel.
I don't know.
Gun Barrel and I have a little rivalry, or a little I don't know if it's rivalry. I wouldn't call it that. So we're like each other's nemesis. I have a nemesis. I always have a nemesis everywhere. I have one at work, one here. Gun Barrel and I have been going at it head to head for years. I don't know why.
I don't have a nemesis.
Well, because you're such a nice guy.
Well, that's not entirely true. I just play a nice guy on TV.
Well, you do a good job of it.
I do an excellent job of it.
So
that's why they keep re-upping me to continue playing a nice guy on TV.
That's right. And if you played a bad guy on TV, everyone would rebel against. Like, that's not him.
That's not exactly. I'm typecast. That's what it is. It really is.
I'm sorry. But yeah, so Gun Barrel and I've been going back and forth.
Oh, that's cool.
I think I first learned about Gun Barrel through his painting, probably painting Flames of War minis, 15 mil, like you used to do.
Oh, yes, I did.
Did you ever do videos with those, Devin?
No. I stopped playing Flames about 6-7 years ago. And it was a couple 3 years before I even started doing my podcast. And I did my podcast for almost a year before it switched over to video casting. So yeah, I've still got all my Flames of War stuff. I've got over $2,000 worth of Germans and Hungarians sitting over in my cases over at I just, what I want for it, they're all painted, and what I want for it, I don't think many people are going to pay me what I want for it. So they sit over there gathering dust.
All right. Well, maybe sometime when I'm there in Seattle, I'll bring a huge wad of cash and see
if I'll give you a good deal on them.
Tuck you out of them for, what do you think? Maybe $200, $250, $300?
I may be desperate by that point. You may be.
That's what I'll do. I'll watch your videos until you start losing losing weight and getting, getting hungry and talk about your bills aren't getting paid. I'll be like, hey, I'm on my way to help you out. I'm a good friend.
Yes, you are.
With friends like you, who needs friends? Let's see. Nice hands? Yeah, you bet they are. Just like that kind of thing. I have been complimented on my veins by a couple of phlebotomists. I'm not sure if they were hitting on me or just telling me I had nice veins.
Probably just telling you got nice veins.
Wow. I guess you and Gun Barrel are on the same page about me then. Oh, Gun Barrel give me $2 for these. All of them. You want the Germans too? I'll give you the Germans for $2 too. How's that? Oh wait, you're Canadian, aren't you? Forget it. I just saw the
Oh.
exchange rate in Canada, man. No way.
$2 Canadian? Yeah, that's not even worth it, man.
Yeah, you can send me $2. You what do they say? Two good old US of A dollars. I just paid a guy. Actually, I just bought. That's funny. I just bought some minis from a guy in Canada, and the exchange rate was he was selling them for plus shipping, so 50 and 25, $75. I'm like, okay, I can do $75. I went into PayPal. $75 came down to like 59 or $61 with a fee. I'm like,
Yeah.
holy cow! I didn't realize the exchange rate was that way. So thanks, Canada. But he's happy getting the $75, and I'm happy. I don't know if I'm happy, but I guess I am happy getting rid of my $60. All right, what do I paint now? Oh, I've been. Let's see, Gun Barrel. It's a pretty small group. We got two people. Oh, two people watching. I don't know if that includes you, Devin.
I think I turned YouTube off, so it will not include me.
Cost me more, of course. Okay, he's just gabbing. Oh, no, you're gonna be able to tell with the cameras here. So I got this. Maybe I turn that off. It might be.
Oh, better. That mat, yeah.
So I got this like fuzzy fuzz. Well, I don't even know what you'd make with it. I don't know, a blanket or a. I don't know. I love that I go to Joann Fabrics now. I think that's pretty funny. But hang out with the ladies primarily. I'm pretty much often the only guy in there, so I don't think I'm being too. And it's a really bright green. If anybody's seen my videos, and I've always wanted to kind of. A lot of guys will like paint, and then they get a comb and do all this stuff. So I tried that. Now you can't really tell on the screen, of course. So I've been kind of experimenting. You can see a little brown there. So like right there in that view I'm looking at in the camera, like that doesn't look too bad. When I look in person, I can really see the lines where I painted. You know, it's very obvious, but I'm just getting that right. So that's a bunch of guys said maybe use a Dunkelgelb or a yellow watered down, which I did here, but it looks, I can't even really tell I did it. I mean, you can because it's not that bright green, so that's good. And then someone suggested George. No, who was that? George? No, it wasn't George. Who was that? I want to remember because it was really. Oh shoot! Oh, Hingus from Hingus Comics. He does a lot of really cool historical vids. Devin. He I don't know if you've ever seen him. House of Hingus Comics, but he does 15 mil. Played some variation of Flames of War, and then he's almost, I think, got to the point where he's almost made his own rules. He's adapted so much, but as miniature gamers are wont to do. But
oh yes,
his tables are amazing, and he does amazing video replay videos of them. But he doesn't do very many videos because he does them well. So he's not, unlike me, he just vomits these things out. He actually spends time on his, but he does like the history and shows math. Really talks about he's all about learning and teaching history. He's very I would say he's a historicist. He's very much in that side. I mean, like do it, use it to learn history as well as play. So
yep.
Anyway, he suggested I just cut these out in various shapes and just put this on top of the mat. So use the green mat I have, but then just do a bunch of shapes and maybe make them like, rectangles, square, or maybe not. You wouldn't do triangles, but just kind of odd trapezoid patterns like field shapes. And then place those on the table, which I thought, oh, that's not a bad idea, because you're going to put buildings and roads and stuff on it anyway. But anyway, that's been kind of fun experimenting with that. I would say I haven't succeeded yet on the right look, but I don't think I'll ever be happy with the look of my table. Because you look at someone else's and like, oh my gosh, that looks amazing. Then, I look at mine, and then I get people saying that about mine. I'm like, huh, really? Okay. I think they do look better on camera than they do in real life. Because the colors look a little bit more subtle. So, oh, man. So who else do we have watching? We have 3 whole people now.
Wow, you're big time.
I like tech. Well, that's where I have to worry about getting kicked off. I'm so popular. Let's see here. That's the one thing I've kind of dreaded about. So, Devin, selling board games is it's not that hard to do, right? You sell it, you wrap it up in a box, and you're good.
Yep.
But minis, on the other hand, are a little tougher. And the toughest thing is the shipping of them. Because you don't want them to, especially if they're painted. I mean, if they're not painted, then that's not a big a deal. But the painted ones, I'm all paranoid because I don't want them to bend and break and scratch. And I've had a few shipped to me that come out pretty good. I just gotta suck it up. I'd love to sell it to a local person, obviously, but I don't know if that'll happen.
Yeah, when I was painting armies for people, it was pretty much just at the store, the guys that were too lazy to paint and had more money than sense because we were right next to the army base. So we had a lot of army guys in there, soldiers, army guys. Had a lot of soldiers that came in and they had more money than sense and they didn't want to paint. And so I was more than happy to paint them, but I don't think I'd ship. Yeah, I would be very nervous about shipping miniatures, painted ones.
Yeah, I get, it sounds like a gun barrel. Oh, Eric Bell, let me start over. Take two. Gun Barrel's out, so he's already gone. But thanks, Gun Barrel. We're thinking of you. And then Eric Elder has joined us. Evening. That's up, Eric. And Mad Dog 67. Yeah, it is. It is that late. It is.
No, it's not. It's only
8:30.
Yeah.
10:30 for me. It was 11:30 for Gun Barrel, so he's out. He's got to go get his beauty sleep. And now that he's not here, I'll say, indeed, does he ever need his beauty sleep? I wonder if I try to paint another thing of that or finish them guys. I think I'll finish these guys here. So that's done. So I was watching this guy who talks about how he speed paints, and I'm like, okay, all right, I'm going to try. I wish I was faster at painting. So I cheat, and I use Colors of War. I've done a video of this book. It's fan-frickin-tastic. I do not mind to admit that I paint by numbers.
Nothing wrong with that.
Amen, brother. I feel no shame or whatever. It's an awesome book. I'm telling you, if you haven't seen my review of it, there's been other reviews of it, but mine's just an amazing one. Oh, mine's pretty good. I mean, I actually set a camera up, set it on a tripod so it didn't move, and did all that. Very good details. Like talks about different techniques. Talks about the different, the basics, what to do. But then when you get into talks about basing and the bases and seasonal basing and common features like faces and guns and stuff, how to paint black. And then the cool thing is, talk about brush sides, and they do this thing. I'm trying to find a good example of one. They have like these little chevrons, like military chevrons. Of course, there's an ad. That's fine. I paid for that book, and you put an ad in it. That's cool. They got cool things like this. If you're unfamiliar with formation and how that worked in the day, I think that's one thing I do like about Battlefront that I've always liked about them is that they put those diagrams and they show the tanks, and so that I need 5 tanks, I need 10 guys. I like how they're now that picture I just showed everybody does not really represent that, but I've always liked that about them, even though I've never played the game, because it just makes it easy for someone new to all this stuff. Like, I don't know what a squad is. I don't know what a platoon is. So now, anyway, question some of their stuff, but that's fine. So, it tells you and what I like is they went back to Vallejo numbers. So they give you the Vallejo number. Do that. Oh, sorry, I'm flipping you all off. I guess it's not for kids now. And then point to where it goes. And then they show you like at different levels how to paint. Like, so they show the chevrons. One chevron is basic tabletop level. Oh boy, that's blurry. That's bad video right there, boys and girls. So anyway, that's pretty cool. So I just go to the page I want. So I'm just going to do these guys a field dry. I don't know what I was trying to speak there. Not Africa Corps. And so
you need to do P-Dot camo.
Well, I did do P-Dot camo on those 10 mils, and it actually turned out okay. But I'm like, why did I start with the hardest thing at 10 mil? But so I've I'm paying. I've paid 2 people now to paint my British Airborne because I didn't want to paint the camo. Well, and I wanted to see what their painting was like, and I'd actually saved up money to pay someone to paint, so I was all excited. So now my British Airborne, except for like the gun, the cases, they're going to be painted by someone else. Again, no shame. If I could afford to have the whole thing, it is fun to paint and do it and say you did it. But it's also cool seeing how, like, because British Legion did it. That's how I kind of met through Gun Barrel, or I met Gun Barrel through him or whatever. He's obviously in Britain. And then I got Curtis, who's have you been on Curtis's channel before, Devin? I think you have.
I don't think so.
Dash of Alon. Oh, well, he does board games and video games. And
Al or Fritz? Yeah, I've been over on Fritz's a lot.
Yeah, Fritz, that's him. His name's Curtis. But
he signs everything Fritz, so.
Yeah. Well, and there's a guy named Fritz, so it might be, anyway, whatever. Curtis. He's painting my minis.
That's right. He's talked about it on the channel when you
he does the live streams all the time, and it's kind of fun watching him paint the minis. But I looked again at what I sent him, and I sent him a freaking butt-ton load of stuff there. So British did my basic platoon, but that platoon didn't come up with much support at all, so he's painting all the support stuff. So I'm excited to get those, and anyway, it'll be fun. German camo, dark green, 979. Number, no pride. All right. Painted metal weapons, dark yellow. These guys don't have that. And got the shells. And Panzer Gray. I need to quit talking like that. Oh, brown leather boots. That's interesting. Page 26. What do they use for that?
Brown leather boots
going.
Germans?
Yeah. Well, for German infantry, kind of early war.
Huh.
But especially a late war. Wow, those are brown too. They're all brown. Oh, really, like someone was talking about. Field gray was never the same color. You look at people's uniforms that they've collected.
Oh yeah, there's like 20 different shades of it.
And the shoes, especially near the end of the war, they were taking whatever shoes they could find. So
yeah,
this guy's got those are cool. So brown leather, 872, chocolate brown if you're hungry.
Yeah, I remember chocolate brown.
So how did you paint yours? I mean, like what kind of level? What did you?
Base coat, details, wash, highlight, pretty much. What I would usually do is I'd prime them black, just because I found that filled in the crevices easier. If I tried to do it with white, I really needed to make sure I had a heavy coat on so the white wouldn't peek through in those annoying little crevices that my brush couldn't get to. Do it in black, then you've got some kind of natural shading right there if you miss the deep crevices. So I do the uniforms in basic gray, or in I guess it was field gray, and then the boots in black, helmets in German gray. I do the wood on the rifle, and then depending on how snarky I wanted to get, maybe the rifle sling. Then I would do the flesh. Flesh would usually always be last. And then I'd wash it with smoke. I think the Vallejo smoke. Then dry brush over the top of that, and then pick out the details, like if I wanted to do the belt and the bread bag, and then do gunmetal gray or gunmetal for the weapon barrel. So I mean, it wasn't highly detailed, but it was fairly detailed. I have no idea how that would translate into how the Colors of War does the chevrons.
Right. That's cool.
I put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah. You ever miss it, or are you glad you're out?
I'm glad I'm out. I mean, it just got to the point. My eyes was really. It started to get very taxing on my eyes, and because I'd sit there and I'd be so focused close in on it that for 2 or 3 hours afterwards, my eyes would have a hard time readjusting to see things far away. And then big fat fingers. And, I got tired of all the time that I put into it. It's like, I just want to play. That's pretty much when I started getting back into Hex Encounter rather hardcore. It's like, you know what? All I got to do is punch the counters and put them on the table and go. That's, I don't have the patience for much else in my old age.
Yeah. I'm with you. I know what you mean. I've sometimes wonder about it, but I kind of went the opposite direction. I guess you didn't go the opposite direction. You started out board games, then went to minis, or?
Yeah, I cut my teeth on board games back in 1980. And then in high school shifted over to Warhammer Fantasy. But I was still doing board games. And then through my military service, I did a mix of miniature gaming and board gaming. And then I got out in 95, and that's when board games started to die. So I started shifting over to more miniatures because that was more popular. And then about 2010, 2015, right around there, somewhere in there, I really started pulling back from miniatures. So I've done both for decades. So
yeah,
but yeah, my roots are with Hex Encounters.
No, definitely is a lot easier. 830 is my base color. 830. Oh, there we go. One thing I don't like is I don't like shaking the paint on the screen. It sounds and looks weird. But, you got to do what you got to do, man, for the hobby, for the people.
Yeah. Do what you do for your sanity, I think, more than anything else.
Yeah. Let's see here. All right. So what do we got here? Eric Elder. Devin, where's your paintbrush? Ha ha. Eric.
I threw those away a long time ago.
I'm going to read these in reverse. Well, let's see. 1128. I did P Camo in 10mm too for my 12th SS. Yeah, it's interesting. But it's amazing how that's what's cool about painting. It's really not, the reason I never did it is like, oh, there's no way. And I watched a friend painting Space Hulk stuff, and he had painted that he had played 40K in college, but he had quit at, he'd got smart and quit that, and also needed to pay his school debts probably. And then after a while he made money, and he had an old Space Hulk box, and he was painting him. And I watched him. I sat there and actually watched him do it. I'd seen videos and photographs, but still, you're like, whatever. And then watching my friend do it, and I knew him, and it's like, oh, it's really not that hard to do it. Especially, and those things are much harder than World War II stuff. Those, Space Marines and all that, because they have all that stuff and color, and they don't have
28mm is always harder to paint than smaller because you got to put more detail into it. So.
Yeah. But anyway, just watching him do it, I'm like, wow, it's not that hard. So then I went and I decided to go a 6, and because for size, cheaper, bigger table. Well, more stuff on the table. Anyway, then I was able to do it, and there's a lot of pride when you're painted a P dot or you paint a camo pattern and it looks pretty, it looks okay. So that's one thing about not painting them. It's like, well, I might miss that, but oh well.
Yep.
Let's see. Eric, that's crazy. Props for having that level of patience and the eyes for it. Yep. And I just did eyes on some of my 28mm figs. No, I don't do eyes. I've seen some 15mm people who do eyes. And they look amazing. Let's see. And I said, there, where's your paintbrush? Talking patience. Putting 8 decals on each 1/600 junk JU-88 plane, 12 of them. Yeah, I need to I'd like to put some decals on my tanks because it does add a difference, but I struggled with them. And then, I'd probably poke my eyes out before I finished. Yeah, I think that's what kind of Devin was getting at. You reach a point where you're like, and you just go to board games. I've thought before if I ever got out of this, I'm not going to get out of board games. I know that. Lock and Load Tactical or whatever. I might still paint a few models here and there, Like,
yeah, part of me's thought about getting back into doing models because I did those when I was a kid. The Tamiya models. Hell, I think we all did. But for those, it's like, all right, now I'm going to need to get a airbrush, because if I'm going to do it, I'm going to need to do it with, do it properly. And airbrush is the best way to do the big models like that. So,
yeah, I would not. Well, yeah, let me rephrase that. I would do 15 millimeter models and maybe do like little dioramas because I am not doing scale models. I bought some, I used to do those as a kid. And I bought some 1/72 scale. I thought that was the scale I was going to go with and play. And I had to put, it wasn't a complex tank, but I had to put a bunch of stuff together on it. Dude, I was so just like frustrated. And I was like, what is this? Is a bunch of bull. So I stopped and I did not do that anymore. So, and I was like, I do not want to assemble. So I do. That's another reason I wouldn't do 28s is because I don't want to, assemble those bodies and stuff. Are you freaking kidding me? So not doing that. I own some
one of the things that I found is that when I used to build models, you'd have the Tamiya plastic glue in the in those red squirt, like the toothpaste things. When I was stationed in Japan, there was an actual Tamiya model shop right off base.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I mean, probably 3 or 4 minutes from the front gate. And so when I was in Japan, I built a lot of models there. But they had their glue, the Tamiya glue over there, was actually applied with a brush from a pot, and that was some of the best glue. I don't think I can find that here in the States. Maybe you can. But yeah, that I can't go back to the old, using the toothpaste tube to put glue on. It's like, no, I got to have a brush. I got to apply it with a brush. I can get more focused gluing where I need it. Because you do it the other way, you're just kind of glopping it all over the place, or at least I did when I was a kid.
Oh, definitely a glop. That's a glopper. No, I've seen that brushed paint before. I don't know. I never got it, but. Yeah. Well, and that's another thing. It's funny. So I did those as kids, and now that I've seen techniques for painting, I'm like, wow, I could have done a better job even as a kid if I would have had someone show me some of these techniques. Because again, you can get pretty nice jobs without going too crazy on them. I just had there just wasn't the instruction back in the day. So.
Well, and a lot of it also is just over time. I mean, I look back at some of the stuff that I painted originally, 85, 86. And it was just paint. There was no washes. There was no brushing to it. It was just applying, one coat of base paint to it. It's like, oh my God. And it's just over time, I learned about shading and the proper way to prime and, the proper colors to use when you want to do a wash and the different types of dry brushes and wet brushes. And it just, you keep at it. It takes time and you get better over time with it. So.
Right. But I have learned hanging out with some of these guys on their chat channels, Rocky's War Room specifically is what I'm talking about. Well, and not just him, but there's been people who do like these challenges and like 30 minutes a day or something. And I'm like, that's kind of what I've been trying to do here lately. It's like, just get down here. Because one, a little bit of progress. So if I got those models counted, get these guys painted. Well, yeah, it's not a lot, but it's more than I would have got if I didn't come down here at all. So. And the next thing you know, you've got an army built up. So,
yeah. And since it's only a half hour a day, it's not that big of a commitment, And I spend more time trying to wake up every day than that. So.
Yeah, you gotta, but it always rolls into an hour anyway. But if I set that goal, and then. Like you said, just keep. And another thing about doing it 3 minutes a day is you stay in practice.
Yes, I'm sure if I went back to painting 15 mils, they wouldn't look anything like the last stuff I did when I stopped painting. So 5 or 6 years, I'm going to lose some of my skills and techniques. That's just the truth of it. So,
anywho, so it's I'm enjoying it enough to keep doing it. So you get a couple scenarios. I got a guy at work that would like to play a game that he's played. I think he has now stopped. He still has his models, but he's played tons of 40K over the years. But I think he's kind of gotten out of it now. But he's interested in. He's taking up board games, not war games, but just regular board games, like the good Euros that are out now.
Euro
But,
and American style.
but he's also interested, and he goes, "Yeah." I'd ask him if he'd be interested in coming over and trying the historical one, and he is. So I just got to put a little scenario together and have him over and welcome him to my den of shame.
Make sure he wins.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I definitely, you take it easy on the newbies, but I'm also like, well, he's played a lot of minis. I think he's sold on minis. He's just no mercy. No, I'm just kidding. It's not a lot to worry about. You played me in a game, Devin.
Dude, you beat me the last time. You've beaten me most of the times we've played.
I don't want to brag, but yeah, but I mean,
yeah, okay, see.
All right, so let's see here. So these guys all have their flush painted and their helmets. Look at that. I'm like nearly done.
Wow. It's only taking you 45 minutes to get a half hour worth of work in.
Exactly.
Most of it is just me trying to get me on.
Yeah. Well, and I'm telling you, the last I did had an update, and now my cursor disappears in Chrome. I would not be surprised if Apple did something silly.
Yep, if you're using nasty Microsoft products.
Well, it's a Google product, but that Google doesn't want me using. I'm sorry, it's a Google product. Apple doesn't want me using Google browser. Let's see here. What paintbrush do I use? I really need to use my wet palette, but I'm not.
It's one thing I never really tried to do. Well, I never used it at all. Was the wet palettes. I think they're kind of a waste at 15 mil and smaller. At 28, yeah, I can see the advantage of using wet palettes, but I'm not sold on it at the 15 millimeter scale. So, but I speak from just theory crafting, no actual practical experience.
Well, it is good if I was gonna be sitting down here for like 3 or 4 hours, it would be good because it does keep it wet. And then I can kind of do a whole line and then go do another set and it did help. So it's in the hopper, but when I'm doing like these, like little, just quick runs of them, I don't worry about it. Yeah, Devin, I need to get you out here to St. Louis to play me in a game.
I've had so many offers for people. You need to come out. You need to come out. I was like, well, if I ever win the lottery, I'll be more.
You need you all to pay my ticket. That's great. I'll be on that.
Yeah. So, I am just a poor aged veteran.
Well, like those honor flights they do for the old vets. You could do an honor flight for you. No, I don't mean that. I just mean because that's who you see. I think you need to go. You need to do that though.
Well, usually
where are you going to? I'm going to go play a war game. I went on a flight one time and there were literally, I think, 42 wheelchairs. I was like, what the heck is happening here for the plane? And it was one of those honor flights. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I won't get angry. And actually, it was Southwest. They did a great job. I mean, you see that and you're like, oh my gosh, it's going to be up forever before we take out of here. But got them loaded up and we're on our way. I can't remember. I think it was a trip to DC. So we're going to go see all the monuments and stuff. I think it's a pretty cool deal they do.
Yep.
Oh, that's funny. I painted the ground brown, obviously, and I got this guy's boots, but I guess I don't need to worry about it because the boots are brown anyway. So
same shade of brown.
Yeah, sure.
It is
well,
now.
The ground will get colored and covered up with grass mainly. So
right, and it'll get flocked and everything. Yeah.
You watch your mouth.
I'm sorry. I only speak 2 languages: English and sailor.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see here. I think this guy has got his short sleeve shirt on, so I need to paint his arms. we were on a video one time doing a live chat like this, but it was like all a bunch of mini painters. And there was a guy, I think I've told the story about it a million times here, but so we're all sitting there chatting and doing this kind of thing, just like we're doing here, but they're all painting minis. And you hear, all of a sudden you hear this kind of, occasionally during the video, you hear this like, and it's like, what is happening? So, and then it stops, and then like that fast, and we're like, what does that sound like? Hey, somebody needs to check their, and this is happening while we're talking. Well, it turns out there's this guy named, I think it's Ken. He does videos, obviously, and he's really fast at painting, and he talks about speed painting and doing stuff. I think he's a commission painter, so he kind of needs to be fast, right?
Right.
And good, fast and good. I am neither, so that's helpful. But he's he's really good. Well, it turns out first of all, he taught. I can't really. Oh yeah, was teaching us. He's taught this word. He goes, rest your arms on the table like this, so they're not moving. Oops, wrong way. This way. Yeah, rest your arms on the table like this, so they're rested and they're not going to be moving. And get the light and get the chair down so you're not slouching like I'm doing right now. But then when he did that, he had moved his camera, and as he was painting so fast it was hitting the table, was taking the camera, and you could pick it up. But it was going tick 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 tick. We're like, what the heck, dude? I'm like, I can't even think that fast, let alone paint that fast. It was amazing. That was a long story for that, but anyway, it's pretty cool.
Again, practice.
Well, and again, yeah, he's getting paid to do it, so he's doing it all the time. It's the old Facebook Messenger is dinging. I've been using that for about a year now. Oh wait, Mr. Cement S is the shizzle. Mad Dog says, been using that for about a year now. Eric Elder, see you guys. Off to keep configuring my new computer. Oh, congratulations, Eric, and we'll see you. That was a long time ago. Mad Dogs took care of it later. Me too, actually going to hit the Barco Lounger with these rules I pat until I pass out. Oh, man. Did I catch you before you left? What rules are you reading? I'm curious. That's a thing. Excuse me. That's a thing we do. I think we all do, even board gamers. We all read rules. And I always have to make sure I'm reading actual books because I read so many rule sets. I like seeing these pictures of guys on vacation and they got their rules they're reading on the beach. So which Star Wars are you playing? Old Republic, you said?
Yeah, the Old Republic, the MMO. Or I was anyways. I finished up doing what I wanted to do. So
just like
it's a time killer. It's what it is. It's that little OCD part of me that has to be doing something, and there's always something. I used to do World of Warcraft, but I don't do that anymore, and I've done multiple MMOs over the years. It's something I can turn my mind off and do because it doesn't take that much brain power to do it. So
is it like strategic or something, or is it?
No, it's a massive multiplayer online.
Okay.
Role-playing game. So no strategy or tactics in it. Just run around, push buttons, and shoot stuff, or use force powers on stuff, or dark side powers, or whatever.
Whatever it is you are.
Yeah, depending on whatever class you're running.
And what are you?
I've got one of everything. Like I said, I've played the game a lot. So actually, I've got multiple of some of the characters. There are 8 classes in the game, and so I've got one of each class, and some of them I've got multiples of. Well, I've no more than 2 of any. You want to make different choices, or you want different play styles, or something like that. So, and it's cheap entertainment, $15 a month. So, I spend enough time sitting at home on the computer as it is. I need something to fill up the day with.
Right. Is that your favorite one right now, or?
Oh, right now it is. Yeah. Ask me next month, and I'm sure it'll be something different. I play other things in there. I've been on a Civ 6 kick here lately as well, but I just the last 2 DLCs, not real happy with, and they've overcomplicated. I mean, like Civ 5, I had about 1,300 hours in. Civ 6, I'm struggling. I'm not like 400 or 500 hours. So I just don't like a lot of the changes they made. So, and I'm sure Stellaris, when its next DLC comes out, that game I've got 1,500 hours in. That's my big. That's one of my favorites right there. But yeah,
I think you made some videos with that one a long time ago.
I did a couple of them when the Mega Corporation expansion came out. Yeah, they've got a new one that they're updating the democracy, the diplomacy and federations. So I'm going to be looking forward to getting. And there's like 3 of my buddies. We get together and we play it all multiplayer a lot as well. So I do a lot of that and just sitting around taking care of the girls, playing janitor and chef and chauffeur and maid and all that other good stuff. So I need something to fill my time with in the day, or I'll go crazy.
There's a few of you guys that are like that. Not a few. I think Al did that, right? And some other people. I don't know.
Did what?
Take care of people.
Oh, yeah. No. Al takes care of his dad. His mom passed away, and I know he was helping take care of his mom as well. But yeah, he lives with his dad, or his dad lives with him, and he takes care of his dad. His dad's got, I think, late stage cancer or something like that. So his dad's not in a real good place right now. So
that's a bummer.
Yeah,
I mean, Curtis took care of his dad too for a while until he passed.
Yep.
But like you, just kind of keep it quiet, but then occasionally things will pop out. I'm like, man, there's a few people like that out there. They're doing that.
Yeah, the caretakers were out here. So. And if anything ever happens to my folks, I'll probably move in over there, take care of whatever's going on or whoever's alive or what have you. So we'll see what happens.
So how are they? What's their health like?
Oh, they're really good. Both my folks are very, very healthy. I think my father's in better physical condition than I am. In fact, I know he's in better physical condition than I am. But he's 76 years old. So
Well, that's
hang on, my roommate's. My wife's phone is going off. I'll be right back.
Yep. So, Mad Dog, you said you're going to hang up, but are you still there? And if you are, what rules are you reading?
9 o'clock.
Can't believe I've been on here for an hour. So. Wow, can't even see this guy's belt. I don't know how. The thing is, these guys aren't carrying a lot of these guys have binoculars. So many observers.
Wife's phone was going off for her 9 o'clock meds, and she's asleep.
Do you have to get up a lot in the night to do that kind of thing?
No, not really. Her meds are. She stops taking them at 9 o'clock in the morning. Restarts taking them at 6 o'clock in the morning. So anytime I got to get up is to help her move around in bed, or if she starts to fall out of bed, push her back in, or what have you. So. And I sometimes end up sleeping on the couch because she has Parkinson's and she gets very jerky and floppy and beats me up in the middle of the night. And she also snores. So sometimes I just go out on the couch anyways, which is why I have a very comfortable couch.
I see. Wow.
Last time the roommate and I went couch hunting, we made sure to get, all right, am I going to be able to sleep on this? Yes, we are getting this one.
The considerations, man.
Yep. I was looking out for myself more than anything else. I'm a bad person, I know.
Well, it's gonna be your bed. I mean, good night's sleep is important.
I'm ex-military. I don't know what a good night's sleep is most of the time. Although I can sleep everywhere.
That's good. I've heard that before.
Oh, yes. That is one thing I definitely learned how to do.
Painting belts. So I'm trying.
Well, you painting the pouches as well?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Fun.
This guy's got all kinds of bags on. It'll be fun to paint. So again, trying to do these guys fast. Notice I've been on here for over an hour, so it's like, well, time to. The guy said he could paint 5 figures in. What did he say? Did he say an hour?
5 figures in an hour?
I probably have that wrong. I'm pretty sure he said something like that.
That's a long time. I used to do like a platoon in an hour and a half, 2 hours.
It must be less than that because he was talking about speed painting. I don't. Well, I bet. I don't know. Maybe it's faster for him.
Maybe a guy in 5 minutes.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, I have never got up to that speed that you're saying, an hour and a half of platoon, and like every coat, wash everything.
Well, letting everything dry in between, yeah, it would be about an hour and a half, 2 hours total paint time. But like I said, I mean, I would have, 15, 20 guys on one of the paint stir sticks and, prime them, let it dry, then slop the base coat on them, then do a little bit more detailed base coat, a little bit more detailed base coat, wash it, and then just highlight it with the details.
Wow.
I would usually get
to that point yet.
I'd usually get 5 vehicles done in about an hour and a half, 2 hours as well.
Just making me mad now.
I'm sorry. No, 5 hours. I was a very slow painter. It take me a day to paint a tank. Am I making you feel better yet?
No, I'm just mad. I'm easily angered. Let's see here. I might be exaggerating my anger a little bit just for drama. Get those ratings up.
Make sure it's not for kids.
Watch Todd get mad at Devin. He's at 11 or something. They do have some cool also designation on how like British tanks mark their squadrons and troops and all that. That's kind of cool too.
Oh yeah.
Nice little detail.
If you're going for historical accuracy. And then you have the people who don't care about historical accuracy. I actually literally played a guy once who had his German Afrika Korps painted up in ultramarine blue. He tried to tell me that was a historical color scheme.
In that universe.
I just kind of shook my head and kicked his ass one side and down the other.
I try to get close. I don't worry about too crazy,
Yeah. Well, it's like I had a BF-110 as my support aircraft for my German army. Now, you can't take the BF-110 as a ground support option. It wasn't a ground attack. But I've always liked the looks of the BF-110, so I took it as anyways, and then I painted it up in red. So, like, screw it. I'm already breaking historical accuracy with this thing. Let's go all the way. So, yeah, I had a very, very, very colorful dark red BF-110 as my ground support attack aircraft.
The 110. Yeah, the 110 is a cool one.
Yeah.
So, no game. Do you have any games in World at War yet? Since you got the new one, you just got a couple days ago.
I haven't got haven't done a game yet. Although I do have one set up on my table. I'm doing one of the scenarios from Storm instead. I actually sat at 2 days at what was it? No, yesterday I sat down and sorted out all the cards.
Oh, okay.
And then this morning I went ahead and punched the counter sheets, the 11, 12 sheets of counters. And it was so nice. It was so easy. I love punching lock and load counters. It's the easiest. They practically just fall right out.
Yeah,
and they're already pre-clipped, so I don't have to worry about clipping them. I can just get right to the game. So, I am going to be recording gameplay. I just need to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sit down and play the scenario through first against myself. Well, I always play against myself. Solitaire without recording, just to make sure I can refresh myself on the rules. Plus, I'm going to be using the solo assistant, and I haven't done the solo assistant with World at War yet. So I want to get a test game in so I get most of the rules down, so I'm not having to reference the rule book every 30 seconds. But then I'll record. It'll probably be, I'd like to say this weekend, but real life crops up and things happen. So, but yeah, I'm very happy with, and I didn't get all the Kickstarter stuff yet. Not all the stuff has come in yet. So,
oh really?
Waiting on the neoprene mats, the novels, the precision dice. What else? The coffee mug. I think I'm getting the coffee mug. Can't remember.
Yeah, I didn't get all that.
But I also got the Space Infantry Resurgence stuff in as well, and I haven't really touched that. I've set that off to the side. That's down the road yet. But I enjoy that. I enjoy Space Infantry Resurgence. It's a very simple game. You can blast through a scenario in like 15, 20 minutes if you know what you're doing.
Is it only solo?
Yeah. Well, it's a solo design game. I mean, the Kickstarter came with a co-op version and a player versus player, but it's designed as a solitaire game.
Gotcha.
So, and David has decided he's going forward with the lock and load tactical set in the Space Infantry. So we're going to have a sci-fi lock and load tactical game that's coming out very soon.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's going to use the square grids like Day
of Heroes.
Day of Heroes. Yeah, the Fallujah module did. So, but yeah.
Why is that?
I have no idea. I'm not part of that design team, so I have no idea. I have a feeling that Blackwell was the one who's done most of the design work on it so far. And it's like a little starter kit. It's going to have like 4 scenarios in it, like 1 or 2 sheets of counters, 1 or 2 maps. And David's mainly doing it just to see if it's financially viable. If it is, then I'll probably be tasked to work on some games for it as well. So, and that's fine because I'm a gamer. I've got scenarios galore up here, and I've got sci-fi scenarios galore as well. So we'll see what happens. I may not. I may. David's got a lot of stuff he wants me to do.
Well, I'm really glad you guys got hooked up with that. I mean, you were. Yeah, I know. It's cool. I'm glad you kind of fell into the family there. So
very, very happy and very blessed. Very blessed.
So everyone here, Devin's played them all, ASL, ATS, but Devin and we've played some live ATS games you can check out on. I don't know if you did one on your channel, but you can check my channel out. We've played some live ones on that.
They were recorded on your channel.
Came to new Devin, but there's also like Facebook photos of him playing. Do you have any videos on ASL?
There's a couple of them. You kind of have to go back far because I haven't played ASL in a couple. I basically just kind of surrendered. Like, all right, I'm done with ASL. It got to the point. My group, I had a really good group. My mentor was probably one of the best mentors in the country, Sam Fletcher, and I got to the point where I realized if I want to get really good at this game, I'm going to have to commit to it, and I did not want to commit my lifestyle to one game because I mean, there'd be anywhere from 12 to 15 guys up at every monthly meeting, but Squad Leader was the only thing they played. they didn't play anything else. One or two guys might play some other games. It's like, you know what? I am just not into that game this much. And it always felt like I was giving birth to an accountant when I was done playing. And it's just too much. And I was also well deep into ATS at the time. It's like, you know what? ATS is a lot easier. I grok that system a hell of a lot more. Yeah, there's a couple mechanics from ASL I wish were in ATS, but I can live without them. And then I just got so irritated with Ray's business practices. It's like I'm not even going to want to try to keep up with what he's doing. It's like, what else is out there? Well, we've got Company Heroes, and we've got Old School Tactical, and we've got Lock and Load Tactical. So what's going to be my new tactical system? Yeah, fell into Lock and Load Tactical because I picked up, what was it? Their first what was their first print and play? Anzac, Heroes of Anzac. It was a Vietnam module that they released, 12, 15 years ago. And I've had that. So it's like, all right, well, then, so that's kind of how I fell into Lock and Load being my go-to tactical systems now. And it's so much easier. I don't hurt myself when I play mentally with that anymore. So,
and I think you and I, did we play a game of that?
Yeah, we played the one scenario where you were the British defenders, I was the Germans, and when I came on, your reinforcements came up behind me.
Oh, that's nice.
Because of the event.
Oh yeah. So you remember Devin talking about letting him win? I didn't let him win.
Yeah, no, you kicked me in the teeth.
I figure if you're gonna, it's a true test to see if you really want to play or not. But no, I mean, I kind of came, Sam seems like I've only seen him on Facebook. I have seen video of him on Facebook. He seems like a super cool dude.
He is. He's a really, really good ASL mentor. He really is probably one of the best in the country. So
you see him in all the tournament pictures. I mean, so he is an example or the epitome of what I really liked about ASL. When I would see because even before I played, I didn't see him, but you see common picture, kind of the same guy, and I'm like, what a great community, man. I mean, it just seems like and I know they got their tools in there, but every community's got tools. So, but for the most part, I was like, and then I met the guy here. So my Sam here is Jim Burris. Same, the guy's just like incredible. Just came to my house, never knew me. I think he might have been the first guy that came over here that I met via the web. And my wife was like, you're having a guy come over you met on the web? I'm like, yeah. I said, but I feel pretty comfortable. He's kind of vet. I mean, first of all, he leads the St. Louis ASL group. So I'm like, well,
right.
And just, yeah, I had read, you kind of, how you do it. You kind of look at their posts and just kind of see whose name people mention. And anyway, that was kind of funny. I remember my wife, like, and I think she thought it was kind of weird too. Like, wow, the guy's going. But anyway, blah blah blah. Came over, taught me starter kit, and then he started me full. And I went to his house a couple of times and played like a full day, which was really fun. And homemade chili. And he runs a tournament. I don't know. Blah blah blah. Those guys is why when I sold it, and I even felt bad. I told Jim I was getting out of it. I felt bad telling him because it's like, it's not the players. It's not the reason I'm getting out. It's that I never wanted to think about it. And I was like, I just had this conversation on another video a couple of days ago because someone had asked me, like, why are you playing squad leader, not advanced squad leader? I'm like, because, man, the squad leader, I'm having a ball playing it because I can play it. I think about it afterwards. I want to play it again because I'm just playing the most basic level of it. In this case, I need a, yeah. I mean, you can't beat the history. I mean, the history of the game and the scenarios and the community, but too much for my little brain or something. I don't know.
The game itself is just too much. It's kind of funny. Ed Greenwood, he wrote the ASL rules, and as he was writing this, it's like, I don't know why we're doing this. No one's ever going to want to play this.
That's hilarious.
Well, he was wrong.
He was wrong.
I even think I don't even think he plays anymore. In fact, I don't think he really has played for years.
No, I don't think so either. He did the half squads or something. And he talked about how he's not playing. But anyway, blah blah blah. It's a fantastic game. I think it's a great game, and I think it's awesome that it's out there, and I'm glad people are playing it, and I hope people keep playing it. But I won't be playing it, and that's
It's just not for me. I mean, it's a lifestyle game, and I don't want to commit my life to one game. I like playing too much other stuff.
yeah. I mean, so oh gosh, I feel like I repeat stuff on videos all the time, but
I repeat stuff all the time.
I on either podcast or probably podcast or video or a video, someone talking about a guy who plays the same kind of the same game, kind of paints the same scale minis, and I just always like that is kind of dedicated to one game. I'm like, that's awesome. Or the people who play ASL or whatever, I'm like, that's great. Sure makes your life simpler. But I never can stay. I'm too, yeah. Like, doing this whole squad leader thing I've been doing lately. It's like I've kind of come to embrace it. Like, you know what? I want to do it. Just do it for a while, and I'm sure I'll get kind of tired of it, put it away, and I'll, move on to I got a bunch of games. I don't need to buy them, although I have been buying that one. But
you got a copy of GI coming in, don't you?
No, I do not.
Oh, you don't have I thought you said you had a copy of GI Envelope.
I had a copy of Crescendo of Doom.
I saw your unboxing of that.
I might have said I think someone commented that I need to have one coming in or something, but no, I didn't. No, I mean, if I can find I found that copy for $40.
Yeah, it's actually not bad for
an unpunched. Oh, holy mackerel, dude! Yeah, it was great. I'll ruin that. I'll punch that bad boy right out. But so if I see a really cool deal on Anvil, but Anvil's going for like 80 to 150 or 200 or some crazy number. I'm like, come on, no one even plays it.
It was a much bigger game, and it didn't get as much print runs as the prior copies. You got to remember, Squad Leader itself.
True.
Squad Leader had 9 print runs, and each print run was about 40,000 copies. Cross of Iron Crescendo Doom had about 5 or 6, and I think GI only had like 1 or 2, and then they shifted over to ASL. So
that explains that.
That's the reason why unpunched copies of GI is just because it's a lot rarer.
Well, I don't even need an unpunched copy. I'm not that worried about it. It's like if I find it and I see it, fantastic. I'm not worried about it because I'm not going to use the rules in it. I just would want to use the maps and the minis, the counters. But I'm having a ball playing it right now. So
good.
I mean, Lock and Load's my choice, and that's what I'll stick with most. But what I should be spending my time doing, Devin, instead of playing Squad Leader, I think you know where I'm going with this. But let me ask you a question. Do you have some people that are actually doing it and helping you?
My playtesters?
Yeah.
Yes, I do have. You are not my only playtester, Todd.
No, I know. I just want to make sure you're.
Oh no! I'm getting a lot of good feedback from everybody right now. The project is actually pushing forward. I've gotten hooked up with the map artist, and he and I are starting to go through what I need for the maps. The ones I've designed, he's going to start working up to make them, just like all the other Lock and Load tactical maps. But there's also 5 maps that I need modifications made to for my game. And he and I are starting to work on that. I mean, really, aside from, whatever playtesting I can get done, plus the historical write-up, pretty much everything's on my side is done. The maps, we're working on the maps now, and we're trying to get a counter artist right now. That's the big thing that's holding us up. As soon as we get a counter artist, then I'll sit down with him and we'll work through, I've got the counters, how many I need of each counter, and how, it's like, all right, this sheet has 90 small counters on it. I need 4 of those. So that's what? Math is hard. 9 times 4, 300 and whatever, 320, whatever. I've got those all laid out, and I don't know specifically on which sheet each one of them are going to be laid on, but then, I'm not worried about that. Blackwell takes care of all that. But I know my exact counter count. I think the total counter count is around 650, 700 and some odd counters. And I've got them all slotted. I know exactly, okay, this many full squads, this many motorcycle squads, this many half squads. So pretty much everything on my end is done. It's just map artwork and counter artwork's the 2 biggest things that we're waiting on. I got to come up with Kickstarter goals.
Oh, you're going to do a Kickstarter?
Yeah, David's going to start doing Kickstarters for everything to go from here on forward, I think.
Oh, really? I thought he was talking about not doing that. That's funny. Okay.
Well, no. He likes the Kickstarter, but the thing is he's not going to put anything to Kickstarter until it's 100% done. And it's like when the World at War 85, when that project went to Kickstarter, it was done. There were some minor rules revisions that happened while the Kickstarter was going on, but that's something that's easy. You can change that on the main PDF before the printer prints it out. So, but the playtesting was done, all the counter artwork was done, all the maps were done, everything was laid out, everything was done before you opened up the Kickstarter. And like I said, everybody would have had their copies in August if the printer didn't have this massive backload all of a sudden.
Yeah,
and the same
definitely.
Space Infantry Resurgent was supposed to be out in October. So, but again, had everything gone according to schedule and had the printer done what they were supposed to do at the time they were supposed to do it, we'd have gotten everything in August. I mean, there's not a single delay that happened on the company's end. It's all on the printer's end where all the delays came from. So,
well, I appreciate them. I mean, I appreciate him. He's been very forthcoming and talking about it, and I think that's helped people be more chilled with him.
There's a few people that
whatever they're going to be. I mean, come on, guys. I mean,
you're going to have that, but yeah. Did you see the pictures I posted from a couple days ago?
Yes, I did.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You did. Yeah, when I actually went down to the port of Tacoma and got pictures of the ship.
That's pretty funny, dude. That's good though. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. That's just kind of cool. He's connected himself up with some people. They're helping him out. He gave you the tracking stuff. I know a lot of companies do that, the tracking stuff nowadays, but
yep.
And then you going down there taking it. I know, whatever. Yep. But that was cool.
Well, I know the port of Tacoma. I knew where it was docked at. I knew where the observation tower was in relationship. It's like, it took me 20 minutes to drive down. Okay, granted, the hardest part of it was my fat ass hauling up the 3 flights of stairs to get to the top of the observatory. But
But you did it.
I did it.
Look what you did. You sacrificed for the company.
I'm not sure, man. Sacrifice, but
well, okay. So you talked about getting your copy. Well, you're doing all that kind of crap for him. Not crap. It's not crap. I don't mean to say that, but you're doing all that stuff for him. So I think it's cool. You got a copy of that game and got it early. And
I just still feel so bad that I got it before everybody else. I mean, and I got it on a Sunday too. I mean, I guess living here in Seattle, we have the infrastructure with Amazon that mostly we get orders really quick around here. So,
you bet, yeah. Well,
of course, Kevin was giving me no end of grief about it. So,
well, he should. That's what he does.
That's what he does, and it's all good. We love Kevin.
We do. I need to play another game with him online.
It's been
so that's all cool, man. And so I'm glad your scenarios are coming together. I'm glad you found some reliable playtesters because that's definitely not me. So
the problem is the arts and crafts aspect of it. I think if I had a Vassal mod, that I would have a lot more people. Because honestly, printing up the maps and printing up the counters and making the counters, that's kind of a big doorway to a lot of people doing playtesting. So they, if I had the finances to be able to print up 10 or 20 playtest kits and had the finances to not email them, but ship them off to my playtesters, I would, but I just don't have those type of finances. So, it is
what is the, I know when you guys were chatting online, I got on there and I said something and someone said something about the maps, but how difficult, I know you wouldn't do it because you don't do it, but how difficult would it be for someone to be kind of there to make some even just quick and dirty Vassal maps?
Well, see, that's the thing. Lock and Load does have a guy on who does all their Vassal mods. And I've talked to him cursory. I should probably follow up with it. But I mean, at this stage of the game, I almost think it's almost too late for him to for playtesting purposes, at least for this project. Future projects going forward, Pegasus Bridge. Then
what?
I didn't tell you that?
I think you did. I was trying to be dramatic for the
well, I appreciate that. Yeah. So Pegasus, the next project I'll look at trying to get Course Pegasus Bridge. It might be much easier because there's one map. But yeah, I'll try to look at getting him something thrown together with, the playtest map, and, so we can get something out to playtesters a lot easier.
Yeah. Well, there again, I mean, showing my reliability as, I don't know, just as a person. Devin and I talked about Pegasus Bridge, and I told I'd talked to Dave, and then at some point I contacted him, and I said, yeah, that's not going to happen. So he's like, well, let me find somebody that's reliable. Oh yeah, Devin.
Well,
I sat there and I thought about it. I mean, I really did think about it, and I thought, man, that's really cool and all that. But then I was like, that's, you just got to choose your hobby time, man. And I know.
Oh no, I get it. I completely get it. I've got the free time, and honestly, it's I've been working on this project since March, so.
Well, right, and you've done it before, and but you got kind of the.
My first module, my first game took me over a year from the time I started to the time I delivered it to Ray, and then of course Ray, he turned around and had it at the printers and out to people in a month. So
a little different operating procedure there.
Just a little bit, yeah. Of course, see, you got to remember, Ray also has a printer and a die cutter that he owns. I mean, he does all the printing and counters in house. So that right there saves a lot of time and a lot of if you've got the upfront cost to purchase something like that,
right?
And plus, printed like 200 copies of my game, so
yeah.
He did a couple reprint. I think he did one reprint, and then we updated it to version 2, and so but
he updated to version 2, named it something different. People weren't sure if they had it.
Which is what Ray does a lot.
No, I'm just really glad that trying to move to something more positive. I'm really glad David got Lock and Load, and he has done a great job with it so far.
Oh, David's done a phenomenal job with it.
It's you talked about OST and Conflict of Heroes, and I never want to. I'm not going to down talk them. They just don't. They're not going to. They're not going to expand it like these companies are, and I think that's awesome. And I know, will I ever get all these scenarios played I have? No,
of course not. We never do. We never play all the scenarios.
But part of the fun is getting those things. I know I can go play an Italian desert game if I want.
Yep. Oh yeah. Well, Yui over at Company Heroes, he's supporting it, and the guys over at that are doing Old School Tactical, they're supporting it too. I mean, Old School Tactical has got 4 box sets out, and I think there's 5 or 6 box sets for Conflict of Heroes. I mean, the 3rd edition of Awakening the Bear just came out. So my biggest problem, and again, I don't want to throw shade on either one of the systems. Both of them are great systems. It's just Company of Heroes, and this is such a petty thing for me that was my deciding factor on. And I hate being this petty about it, but it was the counter art.
Oh,
where you would have the tank, and it'd be facing off to the side, but the arrow for the actual front of the unit was pointing in a different direction. And like I said, that's how close it came down between. I mean, Old School Tactical was fine, but once I got into it a little bit, I realized that wasn't going to be for me. I mean, that's how close it was between Company Heroes and Lock and Load. When that was the deciding factor, it's like, Tiger's pointing that way, but the actual counter front is that way. I like the chip pulls for the combat resolution in Company Heroes. I think that's a great mechanic. I'm a fan of different mechanics. But yeah, that's what was the deciding. That was the hair splitting difference for me when it came down to Lock and Load and Company Heroes.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm excited that you're a part of it. So
yes, I am too. I'm very happy. So, and trying to be humble about it. That's
anyway, so what's the any projections at all on your projects, like times or any?
It's all going to come down to when we can get a counter artist That's the biggest thing that we're looking at right now.
Oh yeah, you said that. That surprises me as well because I would think that you'd have that.
Well, the problem comes into play is that for Lock and Load Tactical, you basically need 3 disciplines of art. You need action pose for the infantry, top-down line drawings for the tanks, and portraits for the leaders. Those are 3 different skill sets, and trying to find one person who can do all 3 skill sets well, that's a little bit more difficult. So
you can't use the same person he's used, like that person's not available, or doesn't?
I don't know the full story behind it.
Oh, okay, all right.
that's all I can say on that. So
different story. Okay.
Yeah. Story that I can't get into.
Yep, no problem. So yeah, that's cool. Anyway, and I like that he's doing the live chats with you guys and other people.
Yes,
that's good. But a lot of people are now doing that, like the guy from Compass Games.
Yes, he's been doing it for about a year and a half now. He does his
very consistently. It's just really good. That's smart. I'm a marketing guy, and I think that's just spent, especially in this realm, people appreciate that.
Well, the thing is, I mean, us old grogs who remember the early days from the 80s before the advent of the internet, we populate the hobby most of all. We do. I mean, this is an old man's hobby. We need to approach things with the younger generation in mind. And how do you do that? Web presence, podcasts, video casts, digital gaming. It's if we want the hobby to survive beyond us, I think in one way, shape, or form, there's always going to be a war game hobby. But if we want to have it bigger than it could be, I mean, and that's one of the things I like what David's done with Lock and Load. It's like, man, rule books are digital. They're available for free on the internet. Who doesn't have a device that can read a PDF? Phones, tablets. I mean, everybody. Yeah, even I have got, a pretty fancy. It's an Android, but it's I'd have never thought. 2-3 years ago, it's like I don't need a phone. Now I do. So
yeah, now you're like I can get away with it.
So David is approaching it that we need more of a web and digital presence, and the best way to help with that is the podcast. So, and we're always looking for ideas. So if anybody has any ideas and suggestions on shows we can do, we're more than happy to listen to the fan base. So,
well, I would be interested in
coming on.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind coming on. I just don't know how much I'd have to say about it. But
it all depends on what the topic we're talking about.
Yeah, I would think it would be cool to hear some of the scenario designers, maybe for, well, in my case, tactical, but whatever, any of them, kind of just hear, why they how they design the scenarios and what they're thinking about when they do it and blah, blah, blah. I mean, you could obviously talk to it, but.
Yep. That actually may not be I don't think we've done a show with Keith on that. I don't think we've had Keith on. Well, he was definitely on when we did Contact Atlanta, but I don't think he talked too much about the design process and the scenario design. May have to look into that. I can't remember. I watch so much and do so much on the web that my mind it's got twisty, and so I don't remember everything. So that might be an idea. Get him and Jeff on. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially that where it's imaginary. Well, right? I mean, you're talking about the World at War, right?
Yeah, World of War 85. Yep.
To get into tactics of scenarios.
Well, I've suggested that, and I think he's kind of waiting on me to write up some topics and talking points, and it's like how to maximize your impulse movement in Lock and Load Tactical, and what's the proper way to use a tank in Lock and Load Tactical, and stuff like that. So I should really sit down and work on that.
Yeah, you should really do that.
I really should.
So there isn't a lot of that with Lock and Load yet, with kind of like scenario analysis and discussions. There's not a whole lot of that out there. And I don't know, has anyone talked about like tournaments? And I'm not a big tournament guy, but those kind of generate a lot of it adds a lot. That adds an interest to play. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
have you heard anything?
David has never mentioned anything about tournaments. I'll bring it up to him the next time. He and I talk 3-4 times a week. So, in fact, I talked twice yesterday.
Well, even just like, well, the reason people, and I never did go to an ASL tournament, but people talk about ASL tournaments, even if you're not that good, it's good because you get a lot of games in quick and you play a lot of different people. And so you learn lots of different.
High level, how to do things, how things should be done, and mechanically how the rules work. Yeah, I don't like doing tournaments just because I tend to be hyper competitive when it comes to things like that, and I don't like the person that I turn into because I turn into kind of a dick. At least I did back in my Warhammer days, and that may be the problem right there. So I don't do tournaments. I go to tournaments, but I don't participate in them. But
yeah. I don't know. It's just, I mean, all someone has to do is do one. He doesn't care. It's not his job to make them. So
yeah. I'll approach the subject with him. I'm sure he's probably tried it in the past, and for one reason or another, I know he doesn't go to he doesn't have a presence at all the cons. He just can't afford that because he's not that big of a company. So, but I'll talk to him about it. I'll see what he has to say.
Yeah, or have they talked about it, or does he know? Is he aware of anything? I mean, I think we would hear about it on Facebook.
Well, with that, as far as I know, there are no lock and load tournaments unless they're done at the local level, and I haven't heard anything like that. So, is that an M3 you're painting?
It is.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Get the lighting right. This is one I got from a guy pre-built like this. It's a Battlefront one. Very detailed, lots of stuff on it.
A lot of stowage, yeah.
It's really cool. And so I just never got to painting it, so I'm sitting here chitty chatting, so I might as well get the base on it.
Yep. Ooh, I'm yawning. I should not be yawning. I got like 10 hours of sleep last night.
That's the problem. You have too much.
Yeah, probably. Well, my allergies were bothering me, so I popped a Benadryl. That tends to knock me for a loop. And I know both the girls are now in bed, so Corey has to work tomorrow anyways. So.
You drive them around, you said?
Nah, fortunately for the last few years, the girls both have worked from home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Amazon and Apple.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Pepper used to work for Apple, and they called them Pajamazonians because they worked from home and worked in their pajamas. And Corey worked for Apple for a while too, but then she moved, or Amazon as well, but she moved over to Apple, and so she does customer support from home for Apple.
Well, good. Ask her about my freaking download and why.
I will definitely do that.
Why is my mouse not working on my MacBook? It's probably because it's about time for me for them to obsolete it out, so I have to buy a new one. I know.
Yeah, Apple's infamous for doing that. So.
Oh, sorry, you can't upgrade anymore. Like that is trying, but you know what? I bought another one. Like, they're good, man. I mean, I like them.
You've drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I mean, I know what their limitations are, but tell you what, man, they've been solid for the most part. But I can't get the game Steel Panthers, but it's all right. I don't care. I'm going to get Lock and Load Digital here soon.
Lock and Load Digital. Yep, we're working on that. Honestly, it's getting the multiplayer to work. That's what Tom's working on the most right now, and that's what's given a lot of headaches.
I think that's funny that's what's causing them the problem.
Yeah. Since this is the first time we've done a multiplayer game on Steam, Lock and Load had even Streets of Stalingrad or Heroes of Stalingrad wasn't on Steam. But since this is the first time they've really done anything on Steam that have a Steam presence, it's just it's birthing issues. So I'm sure future games, because we're also working on a Nations at War, and the guys who are doing the Nations at War are also supposed to do World at War 85 as well, of digital version. So I'm sure in the future, after we get everything ironed out with the multiplayer on Steam for Lock and Load Tactical Digital, it'll go smoother for future releases. So
yeah, right.
Tom is feverishly working on getting all the bugs worked out, and every time he thinks he's got a bug worked out, half a dozen more pop up. But that's, computer programming.
I mean, no, I'm normally not a computer game guy, but that one I will support so I can get more games in.
Yeah, oh yeah, and like I said, you've seen the videos. The plan is every scenario that's ever been published for Lock and Load is going to be published on digital, with maybe one or two exceptions. I've been trying to help Tom. Some of the scenarios aren't going to port over exactly, just because, wow, these special rules are just silly crazy, and some of these victory conditions are silly crazy. So it's like, all right, we got to change it a little bit to make it work within the bounds of the computer program. So, but I think there's just one scenario right now that's probably not going to make it in unless Tom can figure out a workaround. So, but yeah, other than that, almost virtually every scenario that's ever been done for Lock and Load will be released, even the ones in the compendiums.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, so am I.
Especially since it's also Mac, which is cool for us people like that.
Programmed in Unity. So, yeah, we were hoping it would be out by Thanksgiving, but the multiplayer just has proven to be a real headache. So
that's interesting. So I didn't hear on the video, does he have a date yet kind of penciled out or anything? Or?
Nothing so far. Yeah, but he hasn't said anything to me.
Sure.
No new date is updated. So, and I know David's been really focused on getting the World at War, the latest batch of stuff from China, all settled and all figured out, and make sure everything's good to go. So as soon as he gets the containers, they can start packaging everything up and shipping it off. And so he's had to do the website, and he's had to have the exact weight on the website for when people want to order it. And he's been doing the sale, the Black Friday sale. David works his ass off. I mean, there'll be times I'm up a lot. I'm up until 2 or 3 in the morning my time, and he's an hour ahead of me, or behind me, or he's in Colorado.
He's ahead of you.
Yeah, he's ahead of me.
An hour.
And it'll be 2 or 3 o'clock my time, and I'll get an email. And he's up working, or I'll see him post something on the website, or notice something has changed on the Facebook group or something. And yeah, the man's a machine. He works a lot of hours. He really does. A lot of mad props to him. So
we appreciate the hard work.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Getting lighting right for video and pictures is like freaking impossible.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't remember how long I was counting those figs, but so it's been 1 hour and 48 minutes. I'd finished them. I just now need to wash them. So I'll wash them tomorrow. And I'll let that dry. And then the next day I'll highlight, and that'll be it on base.
Yeah.
This I got all the green painted. So the only thing about this is, I mean, these models are really great detailed, but they're in there. I would have painted all these guys before I put them in that thing.
Yeah.
Like I said, I got this assembled. So
that's what I did. That's what I did when I did half tracks. I didn't put any stowage on. I didn't put any guys in until it was painted. Then I'd paint them individually, then put them in. So
I mean, I'll dab them on, but it's going to actually take longer to do it this way.
Yeah, because you got to be more careful about getting in there to get the troopers, and yeah, it's.
So if it'll focus on this, I don't think it will, but we'll try. Come on. I wonder if it's too bright. Let's see. How are we going to do this? How do we want to? Because there's some on here. I'm not quite sure. I think it's grass or like camo or something. There's this. We got 2 blobs of this stuff here. You can't see there.
Camouflage netting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
camouflage netting. What do you think I should paint? What color should I paint that? I'm not seeing any guides on that. Just kind of like a
Camouflage netting. I usually went with a kind of a evergreen green, and then, well, smoke was my go-to wash, so I washed everything with smoke. I like brown washes, and then a slightly lighter dry brush on it. I mean, whatever terrain that you use, or a color similar to whatever terrain you use for bushes and stuff like that.
yeah,
That's what it's supposed to represent. It's supposed to represent foliage. So
foliage. And they got their tarps. Yeah, this is when I got this, I can't remember what I bought from the guy. I think I bought some US troops, and this came in with it. I'm like, holy crap, this is amazing. The detail on it is so good. Yeah, I'm really excited to have it. But anywho, so cool. Well, Devin, I appreciate you coming on with me, man. And
I appreciate you being patient for all the times I've brushed you off and not come on.
I've cried the little tear and got a little tattoo tear.
Yeah, I know.
Face. So no comments. I got three people watching. Everyone's being shy tonight. All shy and bashful.
Yep.
Well, I cannot stay up until 2 or 3. I do have to be up at 5:50. So
yep.
And be a chauffeur as well to 2 16-year-olds. So
have they started driving yet?
Yeah, but the high school is like 30 minutes away, and I'm like 10 minutes from it. So I was like, we'll just ride together. I mean, cool. I don't know. It's easier. And one of us picks them up. It's a little bit of a pain, but it's our choice. It's our choice. We could just say drive to school, sucker. But we don't really have a car that we're really excited about and driving that far that daily. It's a Gold Grand Marquis. It's good, but I'm not sure about them driving it. St. Louis Highway there for 40 miles a day, an hour a day.
Yep.
So we make that choice.
Yep, I get it.
Oh, I could have painted these tonight too. I got these Kubelwagens. But for some reason, I base painted them like this, like I think I base painted them field gray or something. I don't know what I was thinking.
Early war Kubelwagens would have been base grade field gray. Yeah. Or German gray.
I think it needs to be more German gray. This is a field gray, and you can't see them in this picture. Actually, they look almost like tan in that with the camera. That's so funny what the LED light does to it. Anywho, this is what makes me think I really like metal miniatures, because these little guys are way more than like this guy.
Yeah.
I do like metal minis. I mean, I used to be like, whatever, but I got some plastic ones and I got some metal ones, and the metal ones are more fun. Well, at least metal and plastic I have are more fun to paint. There's this cool having that weight. There's something about the tank the weight. I do weigh the tanks down, although I must have forgot or didn't do this one, but usually I try to weigh the tanks down with some pennies or washers or something.
Yeah.
I don't deface American currency. If you're listening, government.
I do.
Oh my. Anyway,
pennies make very good washers or very good individual bases for 15 millimeter. Yep, there you go. Crew markers.
Yep.
Pennies are cheaper, dude.
Oh well, I do both. I do a penny and a washer.
Very cool.
I do that mainly so that you can't see it, so that there's enough for fingers to pick up.
Yeah.
Instead of grabbing the mini.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I'd put them on a thin base, but I'd just put them on the washer. So the washers, I don't know what they cost. Anywho, okay, I think that's it. Devin, thanks a lot, man.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you around. I'm sure we'll chat again soon. Oh wait, Dan Booman's on. He says, "Hey guys, Dan, did you just come on?"
He did just come on. He posted a 3 minutes ago.
Oh, sorry, Dan. Hey guys. Hey Dan. Bye, Dan. It's not you, it's us. All right, now it's going to take me we can keep talking because it's going to take me like 5 minutes to find the button here because the thing.
The off button.
Let's see. So anyway, Devin. And in case I have it, we'll see you guys. Thanks, Devin. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I gotta go find